Hello everyone, this is Ayush Podar and today we have with us our very special guest Akshat Srivastav. So Akshat is a good friend and a client of mine, and in the last 4 months I have been helping him in his business and I'm helping him turn his LinkedIn into revenue generating machine. So that's what we're going to discuss today, like how was his experience working with me, helping his business. And before we get into that, Akshat, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely, Ayush. My name is Akshat. I am a public speaking coach. I've been into the industry for the past 4.5 years now. The past 4 years, I have trained and coached more than 10,000 professionals with some really interesting people like CXOs, executives, entrepreneurs from all over the world. And that's what I do. I help people communicate with confidence and influence.
Great, perfect, perfect. So Akshat, let's start with before we started working together, like what was the challenges that you were facing in your business, right? I know there are so many coaches out there, right? They're doing things on their own, but I would love to know like what are the challenges that you were facing in your business before we started working together?
Right, Ayush. So I'll talk about three major challenges that I faced
Mm-hmm.
before I started working with. The first challenge that I faced was a little about confidence in the business. So I built this business from scratch without any formal business training. Whatever I figured out on my own. Now, when you do this, you generally feel a lack of confidence whether you're doing something right or wrong. So when I was doing my business, I did not know what I'm actually doing wrong. What is it that I'm doing right? And because I lacked this awareness about my strengths, weaknesses, rights, and wrongs, there was a lack of confidence. That was the first challenge. The second challenge I realized was that even though I was a LinkedIn top voice, I had almost like 20,000 plus followers on LinkedIn. I was getting very good engagement on my videos, on my posts, but the conversion was not as good. So I wanted to convert more clients. I felt I was not using my LinkedIn to its full potential. I knew I had these eyeballs looking at me, but I couldn't convert them into clients. And because of these two reasons, business was a little inconsistent. That was the third challenge. Inconsistency in business. It made me feel that I am not in control of my business.
Oh,
I
really?
felt the business was just running on its own. Are coming when they want to come. People are reaching out to me randomly. I felt this lack of control made me feel it made me feel not very strong as a businessman.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these were the three challenges that I faced: lack of confidence, lack of conversion, and inconsistency in the business.
Hmm. Hmm. And you have shared a very vital point here, Akshat. Like, and I've seen your journey on LinkedIn, right? And I think you have been creating content for how long on LinkedIn?
So it will be 5 years in April 2025.
5 years you have been creating. Okay. And despite creating content for 5 years, and despite getting tons of engagement, because I saw your post, like all the posts have been getting around 100 plus likes, if I'm not wrong, correct?
Right? Definitely.
But
More than
despite
that.
all those, yeah, still you were struggling for leads. So I want to touch upon more about that. Like, so for how long you have been facing this problem? Like, was it throughout all these last 4, 5 years? Like, how was it? If you could share some insights on that.
So I'd been facing this challenge for quite some time.
Okay.
Initially, when I started off, it was something very new for me. So getting a lead even like once in 2 months, that was pretty good because I was just starting off.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's something new. When you're just starting off, these little accomplishments make you feel good. But after a while, when you want to establish yourself as a business, that's when you need more consistently.
Yeah,
So,
true.
after spending 2 years in the business, I realized that this was something wrong, and I shouldn't be struggling for leads. And even after like 4 years of creating content on LinkedIn, I still my business. I cannot control my business. There has to be something wrong, and that's when I realized I need to reach out to an expert, someone who can tell me what I'm actually doing wrong.
Hmm.
I think that's where you helped.
Hmm. Interesting. And the reason why I want to highlight this point is because, I connected with a lot of coaches and consultants, right, who have been creating content on LinkedIn. And there is a kind of myth amongst them that if they get more likes, if they get more followers, ultimately they will get more leads. right? So I just want to break their myth with you. I know that you were getting 100 plus likes, you're having 20K plus followers, but if you don't mind sharing, like how many leads you were getting on an average monthly basis before that?
Right. Before I answer that question, Ayush, let me tell you about something interesting.
Sure,
In
sure.
2021, a post of mine went viral.
Okay.
You know how many views were there on that post? They were around 4 million, close to 40 lakh views. And how
40
many
lakh
leads?
views.
40 lakh views,
O-
impressions.
Okay.
Do you know how many leads I got from it?
No idea.
Zero.
Oh my God.
And this has
Yeah.
happened multiple times.
True, true, true.
A lot of my posts went viral, but I did not get enough leads.
Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong with it because getting a post viral, getting more views gets you visibility, but it does not get you clients.
Hmm.
So before that, on an average, before I started working with you, on an average, I was getting like 1 or 2 leads a month.
One or
And
two
after
leads a month.
I started working with you, I think I started working with you in October. And in November, I got 8 leads plus a few queries.
Wonderful.
So I think what
Wonderful.
worked for me was the kind of content, how you reviewed my profile and told me what kind of content I should be creating. I think that worked pretty well for me.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Akshay. And yes, definitely we'll come to that part as well. But let that sink in to all the viewers that they're watching right now. That more likes, more followers, getting going viral. Definitely, it'll give you that dopamine hit. Like you feel good about that, but it won't necessarily bring you money and clients, right? So it's a choice that you have to make, and that's what about the business, right? Like if you really want clients and if you really want money to come in through your LinkedIn, you have to play a different game. Like you can't be playing that same game. So I want to understand like how you were feeling, Akshat, like when you were getting all these engagements, your posts were getting viral and everything, but there was hardly any business you're getting from the LinkedIn. So how does it make you feel at that time?
I think it made me feel that I'm not working at my full potential. I felt I was doing something wrong. There was this inherent feeling that Akshat, you're doing something wrong, but you don't know what it is.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I had no idea who could tell me what I was doing wrong. Because the
Hmm.
kind of business model I was working on, I was doing more of one-to-one coaching.
Yeah.
I couldn't find someone credible enough or someone good enough who could tell me until I met you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It made me feel that I was not working to the best of my ability.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
there's something was wrong.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Like I can completely understand that feeling. So like, did you tried any solution at that time to overcome this challenge? Like, did you tried anything, Akshay?
So Ayush, I have this challenge that I relate to very few people
Okay.
and I like to learn from very few people. So I had attended few workshops here and there. I
Uh-huh.
wanted someone who could do a hand holding for me. And
Okay.
for a long time, I had been looking for someone who I found credible, who I could trust. I could work with someone one to one. That person could give a hand holding that we can work on a one to one basis. So I did
Uh-huh.
not try a lot on a one to one basis. Few workshops I had done, but I realized those just gave me a dopamine boost. I
Hmm.
learned a few things, but I couldn't apply them
You're not able to
in
apply.
real
Okay.
life.
Yeah, yeah. I understand. Understand. All right. So now let me ask you this, like what made you choose me? Like what made you start working with me, Akshay?
I think Ayush, there are two reasons for it. Firstly, I think I knew you from before. So
Okay.
since we had some conversation before on
Yeah.
LinkedIn and otherwise, I think that made me open up with you.
Hmm.
And the second thing I realized was that we were working on a similar model. I felt this is the guy who is working on a similar model as me. I could relate to your content. I When I saw your content, I realized this is the kind of content I want to post.
Hmm. Hmm.
Even though I tried reading, understanding your frameworks, I couldn't understand it, just by understanding them unless you gave me the frameworks.
Yeah.
I used to
Yeah.
go through, I went through your profile, I subscribed to your newsletter, I looked at your lead magnets, and I realized this is what I'm actually missing. And
Yeah.
then when I went to your profile, I realized, oh, this guy provides a one to one service. He can help me on a one to one basis. So that
Yeah.
was something, that's when it clicked. Because since I also provide a one-to-one coaching, I realize how much of a big difference one-to-one can create.
Hmm.
Of
Very
course,
true.
attending workshops, doing these cohorts, they also help in some way, but the one-to-one has the highest impact.
Yeah,
With
very
one-to-one, people see results. So when I went to your profile, I saw that Ayush is actually giving a one-to-one service that can help me reach my goals faster, easier, and better. I decided to enroll in.
perfect, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. And what you shared is very crucial on how, business runs on LinkedIn. Like many people, this is what I've observed. Many people think that all they need is they will just post content and they may outreach a few people and they can just expect leads and the clients to come in. But it doesn't work like that. Like the social platform doesn't work like that. You just can't post and offer a promotional post and people will come. No, like you need to have a proper business process. Like for example, you need to share leads, lead magnets, and you have to give away to the people so that they will taste your work and they have to come to the email system so that you nurture them. Like all these
Mhm.
backend processes are not there for so many people, right?
Right.
Those are missing, and that's exactly how you enroll to my program. Like you enroll to my newsletter, you watched my lead magnet, you consume the content. Back then you have read my emails, and that's how you have joined my program. And that's what most
Absolutely.
people are missing, this whole meat and the backend process. This is exactly missing. Great. So I would love to know, Akshat, like how was your experience working with me? If you could share with the audience, like how was it like to work with me?
I think Ayush, it was fantastic. The first thing that working with you gave me was a lot of accountability. Now, when
Mm-hmm.
you're in a job, there is always a boss on your head that can make you do things. But when you're going out on your own, you've got to be accountable. Sometimes, as human beings, it's very difficult for us to do what needs to be done. So, the first thing that I loved working with you was that every week we were connecting, every week you were asking for updates. It made me accountable to work. And I think in these 4 months of working with you, I've worked the hardest throughout the year. I did not work in the past 8 months as much I did working with you in those 4 months. That was the first thing that pretty worked out for me. Secondly, the kind of things that you taught me, I feel that if I had learned, so I found you in the fourth year of my business. The things
Mm-hmm.
you taught me, if I had learned them in the first year or second year of my business, I realize right now I would have been way ahead.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The third thing I would like to say here is that I liked how you answered questions. You were there if I had any confusions. I remember this one call I had with a client, and I was so confused. What should I pitch? What should I ask? What kind of offer should I create for this person? So I gave you a call, and you were there on the call. The entire process was very helpful. You being there as a support, as a coach, gave me a lot of confidence that I can handle any client.
Mm. Sure.
And some of the clients were like big CXOs, and I wanted to close them. And I had this feeling at the back of my head that I have Ayush. He'll tell me if I go somewhere wrong. He also reviewed a few of my videos and gave me some feedback on the sales process. So I think that was pretty helpful. Overall, I had a fantastic experience working with you, Ayush, and I really want to thank you for everything that you've done for me, because I am sure that I am on the right path now. It gives me a lot of confidence.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Akshat, for your wonderful words. And that's my intention, like when I designed this entire program, like I've been in this business in the last 4 years and I've realized the challenges a coach face. There is no accountability because most of the programs out there, those are either, courses or those are either masterminds. Yeah, there
Right.
are some sort of mentorship, but there is no one-on-one customized support, right? And
Right.
that's my whole intention when I designed the program, that I want to design something that will hold people accountable because that's what I realize most of the people are facing the challenge. They don't have a proper
True.
strategy. That is number one. And second is there's nobody to hold them accountable to do the action. Uh,
True.
right. And on their own, sometimes we're not able to do that. So that was the whole intention behind designing the program, and glad to see that it is working out. So if I talk about the business area, like what are the 2 3 key areas where you see the drastic improvement? Let's say, for example, in terms of content, messaging, outreach, anything where you're now seeing a drastic improvement after working together, Akshat.
I think the number one would be the conversion content that you taught me, the kind of content that converts someone into a client.
Hmm. Hmm.
Earlier, people who were just viewing now are thinking whether they want to enroll with me. And I think
Yeah.
that's the first step for them to become a client. So conversion content would be the number one thing I would say. The second thing I would say is the offer that you helped me create, because I now feel that among all the public speaking coaches, my offer is pretty unique.
Hmm.
I now
Interesting.
feel that what I offer to my clients is very unique, and that actually helps me, charge a good price,
Charge a premium.
charge
Correct.
a premium.
Correct.
Earlier, when I used to ask for a price, I used to question myself whether I'm asking the right price. I hope I'm not scamming this guy. I hope I'll be able to add as much value. But after
Yeah.
I have this clear offer, this clear thing that I'm going to help a client with, I feel the kind of money I'm charging is absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that has been a great change. That was number three. So there have been countless changes that I've felt, a lot of things that I've learned. So these were the few things.
Hmm, perfect. And you know what? Like, this is a big misconception that people are having, that they need to improve their closing, they need to improve their sales. Like, I've seen people looking for a magic script that they will simply read out on a sales call and people will convert, without realizing that the major part of the sales process is not on the sales call, it is outside the sales call, what you're doing with your offer and how you are creating those content. Like, those are the two which does a lot of heavy lifting for
Right.
you. And that's why, this entire program majorly focuses on how we can differentiate a coach, because right now if you see, there are tons of coaches and pretty much like people are doing same thing like what you are doing. So
Correct.
differentiation has become a key challenge. Like how you're actually going to differentiate yourself, because if you're able to differentiate yourself and if you're producing right kind of content, you are like already sold, you are already pre-selling your
So
audience, and on the call it becomes like very easy. Like you must have felt that yourself, correct?
definitely, definitely, I agree. I
Yeah.
remember one of my mentors earlier saying that sales doesn't begin on the sales call. It begins the first time someone finds you.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
It's very important to have that kind of a presence online and then having that kind of offer.
Very true. Yeah,
Because
it's the entire process, right? Like how people see you on the profile, and from there, like how they interact with you. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, correct. Correct. So if I go a bit specific, like already you have mentioned, so earlier you used to get 2 or 3 leads, as you said, right, on a monthly basis. And now I think you're getting around 7, 8 leads on a monthly basis, inbound leads.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Perfect. So now you know like how to create the content that actually drive inbound leads. Correct.
Yes,
And if you don't mind sharing, like I know like you have also increased your prices, and then now you're started charging premium. And
right.
like I've seen a lot of coaches, they are in the business in the from the last, let's say, 2, 3 years, but they are not charging what their true worth is. Like they're very much charging very low. So I want to know like how much you used to charge before and how much you're charging right now, Akshat.
So after 4 years of working on my own, I had reached almost like $1,200.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right now, after working with you, I can confidently charge somewhere between 2,000 to $2,500,
Wonderful. Like it's almost double, right?
almost double. I
Yeah.
think it's also because of a lot of clarity,
Yeah.
because of the confidence I've got. And I think it's also because of the clear direction that you've provided.
Hmm. Hmm. Correct. Correct. Right. And like, what do you want to say to those people or to your older self who were struggling to increase the price and who are not feeling the confident inside them that, okay, I can't charge this much. Like, what do you want to say to those people? Like, what is the reason why they're not able to increase the price, and now, like, how you're able to increase the price, Akshat?
I think Ayush, different people will have different challenges.
Yeah,
And I
true.
think it would take a coach to identify where exactly they need to work upon to increase their price. For me,
Yeah,
I realized to increase the price, I needed more confidence, I needed more consistency, more clarity.
yeah,
For
yeah.
someone else, it could be different. I realize someone has to reach out to an expert who can tell them what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. Because with this awareness of what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, where do I stand in the market, with this, I think a person can decide the right pricing for themselves.
Hmm. 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 Yeah, very true. Very true. So thank you so much, Akshat, for sharing all your experience. Right, it was wonderful working with you. So final words, like what would you like to tell to all the coaches who are at a similar situation like yourself, like before we started working together and who are facing similar challenges? What would you like to tell them through your learnings?
I would love to tell all the coaches that the best way to grow your business is by working one on one, because I
Yeah,
personally have seen a lot of results working one on one with Ayush.
yeah,
Because one on one, like I mentioned, gives you accountability, gives you personalization, makes you work harder than in a group setting. For personally, like from personal experience, I would say enroll in a one to one with Ayush, work with him. I'm sure it will give you lots of clarity, lots of confidence, and lots of consistency in the business.
perfect. Thank you so much, Akshat, for all your honest appreciation and beautiful words. It was great working with you, right? All right.
It was great working with you too, as you too, Ayush, and looking forward to working with you in future as well.
Same here, Akshat. All the best to you and your business.
You too.
Yeah.